Welcome to Pheno Field out in Milford, Massachusetts. It is the home of the South D1 semifinal game between the Durfee Hilltoppers and the Attleboro Bombardiers. Evan Massoud with you here on Fred TV for the call. We have just a fantastic afternoon for baseball. This is as far as Durfee's made it in the last few years. They got this far 2 years ago out in Quincy and fell to Wellesley in that game in extra innings, a game that many in Fall River believe Durfee should have won. So Durfee got past Wellesley in Monday's game, and now today trying to make it into the sectional finals if they can get away from Attleboro. Tim Callahan stepping in to lead off the ball game for the visiting Attleboro team. Durfee slated as the home team. They are now the highest seed in the bracket after Silver Lake was upset by Xaverian on Monday while we played our game at UMass. And it's Curtis Perry up on the hill today. Ethan Ferreira pitched on Monday. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 3 Ks, and Perry finds the strike zone on pitch number 2, 1-1 the count. And speaking of Perry, had a great game at the plate, 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 stolen bases. So he got it done with the bat on Monday. Now going to be asked to get it done on the mound, and he's ahead in the count, 1-2. That's laced towards short, played by Arrieta. Low throw, scooped by Dominguez, and that is out number 1. That's a good sign, because I'll tell you, Perry's been a vacuum cleaner over at first on some of those low throws, those one-hoppers, and Dominguez scooped it right up as well. Take a look at the rest of the Attleboro lineup. We have Alvaro Espinal coming in to hit right now, the number 2 man in the order in center field. Cam Fitzgerald's on deck in left. Cleanup hitter is Lorenzo Wilson at first, as that's skied in the air to right field, busting underneath it for out number 2 on the pop fly. 2 quick outs for Perry and the Hilltoppers. Picking up in the lineup, we just heard about Lorenzo Wilson, the cleanup hitter at first. We'll have Ryan Morey, the DH, batting 5th. Troy Van Fleet, the catcher, bats 6th. Nick McMahon at short. Mason Houle, the 3rd baseman. And rounding out the order, Sam Larkin in right field, batting 9th. Cam Fitzgerald stepping in. Looks at a strike. The defense for the Hilltoppers, Moreno at 3rd, Arrieta at short, Buston at 2nd, Dominguez at 1st. In the outfield and left field, Kadima, Pabon, Mativier left to right. Fonseca behind the dish, Perry on the hill. The Hilltoppers looking for a berth in the South Finals. That one up and away for a ball, 1-1 the count. 76 degrees, full sun here. Just off 495. Shy of the Mass Pike here in Milford. Swung on and missed, and Perry ahead in the count. 1-2, looking for a 1-2-3 first. And that would be a welcome sight, because the first inning was really Durfee's worst inning on Monday. That's grounded foul. That was the inning that Wellesley got their one and only run of the ball game. Of course, Durfee came back to win it 4-1. But in these kinds of games, sudden death games, you always want to have the upper hand. Scoring first is most of the time the place to be. And you can kind of control the game. Here is the 1-2 again, and it is sent foul out of play to the left. Breeze is blowing in from center, a light breeze here on this June the 12th. Strike 3 called, and Perry sits him down in order in the first inning. A real strong first inning for Curtis Perry. He dropped a little cutter, it looked like, on Fitzgerald. And that wraps up the top of the first. We'll turn the card over, and we'll get to see the Hilltoppers. We'll give you their starting 9 here. For the Hilltoppers, a very similar lineup. Actually, I think it's identical to Monday. Pretty certain it's identical, other than positions here. Coach Holmes Snyder goes with what's working. Jose Pabon, the leadoff man, in center. Jose Arrieta at short. Alex Dominguez at first. Fonseca, the cleanup hitter, the catcher. Curtis Perry, the pitcher today, bats fifth. Ishmael Moreno at third. Kevin Mativier, the right fielder, will bat seventh, followed by Braden Bussin at second. And Chris Kadima in the 9-hole, the left fielder for the Hilltoppers, who are led by head coach Helm Schneider. Steve Dunley, the head coach of Attleboro. You know, Pabon had a good day as the #1 hitter for the Hilltoppers on Monday as well. He did not have a hit, but he reached twice, and he scored 2 of the 4 runs. And his speed, combined with some of the errors of the Raiders, really sparked the offense. I mean, did exactly what you want from the leadoff man, you know, kind of the catalyst on the team, and it's exactly what you want. And while we're here in the first and we have this moment for Owen Kelleher to warm up on the hill for Attleboro, I want to just say a quick thank you to Pete Boucher, who's manning this event up here for the MIAA. Nate Bono over at the offices in Franklin of the MIAA, who was always been so helpful, helping us get these games on the air and allowing us to do these games to bring you this coverage during the state tournament. You know, here in Fall River, we've had a lot of state tournament teams over the last few years, and it's nice to see here Durfee trying to make a run here like they did 2 years ago and hopefully get further along than they did 2 years ago. They already got Wellesley out of the way. And, you know, Attleboro coming in here, not the highest seed either in the bracket. They knocked out the bottom seed, which was Bridgewater Rainham. BR only got in because of the old Colony League, which is, you know, a 3-team league and will be dissolving after this year. But BR was just 7-13. Attleboro comes in the 11 seed at 11-9. That game on Monday between those two, BR and Attleboro, was an 8-7 game. It's kind of a wild game. You know, Durfee had their way with BR during the regular season. They did fairly well against BR and did not face Attleboro, but the fact that BR put up 7 runs and Attleboro only squeaked away with the 1-run victory tells me that Attleboro is probably a very beatable team if the Hilltoppers just kind of do their thing. And now the chanting from the dugout here. Pabon faking the bunt here. The other matchup in the semis here is we're down to the 4 teams in the South. Xaverian hosting Taunton. And that game started just the same time as we did here. So the winners of that one and the winners of this one will square off in the South Sectional Finals. That's sent to the right side. Callahan over to play it. And they get the speedy Pabon to start the game. We'll look at the defense for the Bombardier as it's Hool at third, McMahon at short, Callahan you just saw at second, and Wilson at first. And the outfield left to right, Fitzgerald, Espinal, and Larkin. Van Fleet the catcher for Kelleher, excuse me. Fun fact from the radio guys over in Attleboro, they're actually here down the other side of the fence. Paul Healy and Kevin Callahan broadcasting the game live on WARA 1320 AM. Paul was telling me before the game that Kelleher's grandparents are actually listening live in Ireland. So that's pretty cool. And Callahan rather, at second, had been playing short throughout the year. That's popped up. Underneath it is Wilson for the out. So very similar start here. Defensively, the Hilltoppers had a ground ball and a pop out, and now we're seeing that for the Attleboro defense as well. A ground out and a pop out. Dominguez getting ready to bat here. Callahan, the second baseman for Attleboro, had been playing short all year with McMahon playing at second, and they decided to switch it up. One popped I lost it. No, it's going back into the woods. But they decided to switch it because I guess McMahon has a stronger arm and they figured that they'll give up a little bit of range to have someone with a stronger arm get it to first base, no short hops. So I guess that was kind of the change, but those two had been playing opposite each other the whole season, according to Paul Healy. Of course, he would know, being the Attleboro radio guys following Attleboro throughout the year. We appreciate their help. Always nice to get some notes, fellow broadcasters like to chat. Grounder to short. McMahon will have a chance here. Good strong throw we just talked about, and the out is made. Nice job at Wilson to stay on the bag. 1, 2, 3 innings. So the Hilltoppers and Bombardiers trade 1, 2, 3 first innings. Second inning up next on Fred TV. Welcome back to Pheno Field. Curtis Perry finishing the warm-up tosses. And while he does this from the MIAA, a well-rounded education is one that is not only academically oriented, but one that also includes physical, social, and emotional development. Interscholastic athletics provide the other half of education. The MIAA encourages you to support your local high school athletic teams throughout the school year. Well, a lot of these seniors, a very senior-heavy Durfee team here. A lot of experience for the Hilltoppers, and graduation was last Friday, so these guys are on summer break. But here looking to win a few more games. Strike called at the knees. Good start to the second for Perry. So basically, we'll break it down this way here. You're down to the final 4 in the bracket. You got to win the semis here. You got to win the bracket. Once you win the bracket, the 4 bracket winners from North, South, Central, and West get seeded into a state semifinals, so a true Final 4. And then from there, the winners of those 2 matchups will go on to a state final. So basically, the Hilltoppers got to win 4 games, including this one here today. Easier said than done. I'll tell you, some of these playoff brackets in the MIAA borderline the Stanley Cup playoffs in terms of length. I mean, really, that's inside. Ooh, I think that might have hit our umpire as he turns away, grimacing in a little bit of pain. Yeah, he caught a little bit of that as Fonseca's glove went back on the hard stuff from Perry. And speaking of the Stanley Cup, of course, the winner will be decided by the time you see this, but today is Game 7, this Wednesday, June 12th. Game 7 today in Boston. The Bruins trying to bring home the cup after winning it in 2011, almost winning it 2 years later, and hoping to pull off the trifecta with 3 Boston championships. Looks like our home plate ump is good to go. Wonder if they let him do a couple practice calls, like pitchers get to throw some practice pitches, see if he's all right. A couple strike calls, 2-2 pitch coming from Perry here to the leadoff man, Lorenzo Wilson, in the second, and that is roped to deep left. And having to hold back on it is Kadima, probably the right move because I don't think he would have got there if he dove. So it is a single, the first hit of the day for either side. And since the ball was put in play, let's just mention that this Pheno Field here is a monster. I mean, Fenway doesn't have these dimensions, okay? 346 all the way down the line to the corner. Left center, I'm going to check on him at first. Left center, get this, 416. And that's just left center. That's not even dead center. There's no marker out there because probably no ball's ever gotten to the fence. We're alleging here. But I would venture to say, based on the way the yardage goes, well, that's drilled to deep center. Pabon, though, right underneath it, played it perfectly, was aligned perfect for it, and that's just a lazy fly ball out. But deep center field, dead on, I would say you got to be close to 450 at least. Well, this is a monster. Then down the line, down the right field line, even further than left field, 375 from plate to fence, right down that line. So it really is a very, very large field. Definitely a pitcher's ballpark, unless you hit a gap. If you hit a gap, well, you might be running a while. Probably a lot of inside the park home runs seen here in Milford. Check on him again. That was awfully close. The ball gets away from Dominguez momentarily, just about 10 feet away, maybe 15 feet away. Not enough for Wilson to try anything, so Perry back to toe the rubber. Ahead in the count, 0-1 here to Troy Van Fleet. After Morey had that fly ball out to center. That one tapped foul off the plate. And it's 0-2. Nice group of fans here from both sides. Attleboro sporting a lot of blue, as they are, the Blue Bombardiers, the Hilltoppers fans. See quite a bit of red and black in the stands, down past the dugout too. That's flared off the bat towards right field, falling fast and falling foul. As Mativier and Dominguez gave it a chase. Kind of a jam shot there. Van Fleet could not extend on that ball as Perry came in with the heat. Today, weather-wise, everything you would expect from mid-June. Probably the best weather we've had all year. Hit and run is on, and the ball goes right through the vacated left side. The second hit of the inning for Attleboro. So 2 on, 1 out, and Nick McMahon, the shortstop, will step in. Strike called. Again, popping the glove there of Fonseca. Perry with the fastball. That one drops down. Pat gonna hit the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Got away from Fonseca. The runners will move up. Tough spot here for Perry in the second after a real easy first. 2 in scoring position now with just 1 out. So McMahon gonna look to try to give his team the early edge here in the second. Looks at strike 2. This is the first time getting to see Curtis. Of course, it's again, you know, with all the rain we had this spring and rescheduled games and whatnot. This is just the 3rd game we've done, and we saw Ferreira in both of the games we did so far. That's sent to pretty deep center, and I think the runner's going to tag. He will. Pabon underneath it, going to throw through. Good strong throw, but it gets away. And Lorenzo Wilson scores the game's first run. It's 1-0 Attleboro. It's a really strong throw from Pabon. He's got an arm, but just wasn't on target. Probably would have gotten him. It would have been very close at the plate. Staying at second was Van Fleet. He did not tag up. And McMahon gets the RBI on the sac fly to the center. That one sent foul by Mason Hool, the third baseman. So the Hilltoppers going to have to play from behind, much like they did on Monday. And unfortunately, that wild pitch that snuck away just a couple feet, the runners they read it just right. That wild pitch is really what allowed this run to score. Because that fly ball to center from McMahon just moments ago would not have scored a run. We would have had first and second instead of second and third. So kind of a tough break for the Hilltoppers there. And that one sneaks away as well. Another breaking ball from Perry that Fonseca cannot handle. Those come off when they hit the ground. There's so much spin on them. It's very difficult to corral those on a bounce. And Perry with a little bit of wildness here. Going to go to the windup now with the runner at third and 2 down. But no room for error here. That's a rope and just foul wide of the bag at third. Two-two pitch here from Perry, and that is strike three. That's a big pitch for Curtis as he ends the second like he ended the first. Hool down on called strike three. That is number 2 of the day for Perry, but the Hilltoppers do surrender a run thanks to a couple wild pitches that moved up the runners. And McMahon with the sac fly. They send 5 men to the plate here in the top of the second. So 1-0 Attleboro as we turn over that lineup card again. Attleboro with 2 hits as well, so the 2 base runners on via hit. I mean, good that it's not any errors or anything. Hits mean that you're around the plate and they're putting the bat on the ball. And the Hilltoppers made contact for all 3 of their outs in the first, so that's always a good sign as well. And they're going to have the middle of the order, Fonseca, Perry, and Moreno, to come here in the second. And we'll take this time to read you another public service announcement from the league. High school sports provide an extension of the classroom where students learn to pursue excellence, the value of working with others toward a common goal, playing within the structure of established rules, discipline, loyalty, and emotional control. The MIAA encourages you and urges you to demonstrate your support for these values and for our young people by attending high school competitions in your community or in other communities if you have to travel like we did today. I know there was a lot of questioning right away Monday evening when this matchup was announced, the time, location, etc., why Durfee had to travel an hour to Milford, half the distance of Attleboro, when Xaverian on the other side of the bracket gets to host Taunton, a higher seed, at their own school. Well, we reached out to Nate Bono at the MIAA, and he said, sometimes these things happen. It's an anomaly. These sites for these games are handpicked before the season even starts. So they're predetermined. I mean, for me, I look at it and say, well, maybe there should be some flexibility there so there is, fair and equal opportunity once you get to go to neutral ground. That's what it's supposed to be, is neutral ground. So looking at it from my standpoint to a game that has no bearing right now on us, Xaverian versus Taunton. If I'm Taunton, I'm not too pleased to have to go up to Xaverian and play there as the top seed at another team's home field, at my opponent's home field. Takes it away. There's no neutrality right there. So I look at it and say, well, why not play in Brockton? Split the difference, play there. Apparently that's not how it's done, and that's okay. The league has its way of doing things, and it's just standard procedure. But, it'd be nice to try to avoid those situations because, think about it. If Durfee had to go to Attleboro today because Attleboro was a neutral site pre-picked before the season started, that's kind of a tough situation. On number 1, it's the first strikeout of the day for Kelleher with the put out, 2-3. So Fonseca down on strike. He kind of got a little bit of, got tangled up a little bit with the catcher there. Surprised they didn't call or consider calling interference there. I guess Coach Olmsnyder did not see fit to go there, but there was definitely a little bit of contact as Van Fleet went to try to corral that ball while Fonseca was getting out of the box. Well, Perry, the batter now, looking at a 1-1 pitch coming up here. Foul tipped into the mitt for strike 2. So yeah, so to kind of wrap up that whole situation, these fields, it is, you're kind of at the mercy of the league. And again, I know there was a lot of question. I questioned it right away. I said, how does that work? And so, like I said, we reached out and we did get our answer. And hey, we here at Fred TV, we don't mind traveling for the playoffs. You kidding? It's always good to be able to see our Fall River teams, our Fall River schools, make it into the tournament and try to make a splash. Perry sends it on the ground to, wow, short. It was to short, and the third baseman, Cool, cut it off and took the play, and the tag applied on the other end by Wilson. Nice job all around on the ground ball out. 2 down. Personally, I like to travel just because, you know, between Durfee and Diamond, we're always at the same places. So the playoffs give us a chance to, you know, spread our wings a bit and get to see some other facilities too. Like, for example, you know, we got to see, you know, we went up to Wellesley High School for basketball. That was the first time we got to go there this year. Went to Blue Hills. I had never been there for basketball. For Diamond's playoff game, we're here in Milford. Have never been up here to Pheno Field. So seen a lot of new schools this year. That one fouled back. I hope it doesn't hit the car. Quickly 0-2 on Moreno. And Kelleher looking to set down the side in order for the second straight inning. Moreno lays off the breaking ball. Good pitch and good eye from Moreno to not swing at it, stay off of it. One-two pitch. That's grounded to short. Played by McMahon. Throw on to first is in time. Another ground ball out for the Hilltoppers. They've hit 4 on the ground in the first 2 innings. 6 up, 6 down for Attleboro. 1-0 Attleboro here on Fred TV.
Honor, courage, sacrifice, pride, our city. Fall River has traditionally been in the forefront of honoring our nation's soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen. Vietnam veterans took the initiative to secure rights to an 80% size replica of the Healing Wall for Veterans Bicentennial Park. The names of over 58,000 fallen heroes will be engraved on the 360-foot long replica wall. 100% of the money raised benefits the building of our Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in Fall River. Help build our wall, which is scheduled to open in 2020. The meaning, the spirit, and the value of the wall is everyone's. Be part of this exceptional, once-in-a-lifetime project. To make a donation, please visit VietnamMemorialWall.org or connect with us at Facebook.com.
Welcome back to Pheno Field here in Milford. Evan Massoud with you for the South D1 semis between Durfee and Attleboro. The Blue Bombardiers with an early 1-0 lead. They grabbed that run last inning. And Perry starts off ahead with a strike 1. Meanwhile, on the other side, Owen Kelleher has been perfect through 2. And Jake Fitzgerald, our camera guy here today, I just said to him in between innings as a quick ground ball out. Sam Larkin retired to start the second inning, 6-3. But, you know, the Hilltoppers had a perfect game tossed against them on Monday from Jay Driver of Wellesley. 9 up, 9 down to start that one through the first 3, and they came back to win it. So a lot of baseball to be played. That's the bottom line. A lot of baseball to be played yet here this afternoon. Strike 1 again for Perry. He's been around the plate, tell you that. Aside from those couple wild pitches, which were really not bad curveballs. If you're going to miss, you want to miss down. You don't want to ever leave it hanging up. And it is strike 2. So Tim Callahan quickly down in the count. Grounded out in the first, 0 for 1. Upstairs, and he doesn't chase. That one upstairs as well, kind of the same spot, maybe just a little lower, but not good enough to chase, and it's evened up at 2-2. Missing down and in. After being ahead with 2 strikes, 3 straight out of the zone, and Callahan's worked the count full, hasn't taken the bat off his shoulders. That's upstairs for ball 4. Perry walks his first. And the Blue Bombardiers have a base runner here with 1 down, Alvaro Espinal. Check on him at first. That was awfully close. I'll tell you one thing that was just so abnormal, I guess you could say. Ferreira with 2 pickoffs on Monday. 2 straight up pickoffs at first base. That was a strike. That was a generous call. But yeah, 2 pickoffs at first, and then he caught another guy in a rundown in the first, and Braden Buston threw home to catch the runner breaking from third. So that was sparked by Ferreira as well and took a run off the board. So he had that move working on Monday. Oh, and they're calling a balk, I believe. Yeah, he didn't throw to first, so the runner moves over on a balk. Lifted to left field. Kadima settles underneath it. No advance for the runner. With the play right in front of him, and there's 2 down. Be Cam Fitzgerald. He was a strikeout victim in the first. 1 of 2 so far for Perry. So Callahan at second. 2-out opportunity for Attleboro. If Fitzgerald can come through in the clutch. Strike on the outside. Nice off-speed pitch there. Had Fitzgerald really off balance. Cam went down looking to end the first, and he's in the hole 0-2 here with 2 down in the third. Perry kicks and deals. Lined just past the diving Moreno down the left field line, and that's going to bring home Callahan to score the 2nd run of the day for Attleboro. That was a good pitch from Perry and a great piece of hitting for Fitzgerald, who gets the RBI double. It really was a good pitch. That's exactly staying away from him. He reached out and he just slapped it. Moreno was right on the bag too, and it was literally just inches from the glove. Well, Lorenzo Wilson singled and scored in the second, so he's 1 for 1, and he's up at the plate now with 2 down as Fitzgerald replaced Callahan at second on the double. That's popped foul and heading out of play into the fans. Wilson steps back in. 1-1 the count. And he did go. Another important thing to note, much like with most playoff games, 3 umpires on the field, not just the 2. So you always have 1 working the line, 1 working the middle of the field, and then 1 working home plate, of course. That one missing. It's 2-2. Big pitch here for Perry. And check on the runner, and they tag him in the foot. He did get on the bag in time. I hate to say it, but that balk, again, something that probably cost the Hilltoppers, because I don't think Callahan would have scored from first on that ball down the line. Even with, or at least you would have had to play at the plate. It would have been close with 2 outs, taking off on contact, but getting the second made it like a cakewalk basically. So between the wild pitches that advance the runners and then the balk that advance the runner, that's unfortunately a couple little errors that don't go in the books as actual errors, not charged fielding errors, but nonetheless they do end up hurting you in the end. So Durfee, it has come back to bite them. A couple little miscues. 2-2, and it's in the dirt. Wilson's run the count full, and he swings and protects. That one up high, fouls it back. Perry gets the sign from Fonseca. Here's the payoff pitch once again, and it's grounded to third. Moreno plays it on a hop. Strong throw across the diamond to get him, and Strand Fitzgerald at second. So that was a big out there for the Hilltoppers, but nonetheless, Attleboro does grab another run, and they lead it 2-0 after 2.5. Hilltoppers go into a huddle here in between innings before heading to the dugout and getting ready to hit. 1 run on 1 hit for Attleboro.
Hey, not hitting. No.
There's 1 left on. You hear some of the fans trying to get the Hilltoppers offense fired up here, as they've been retired in order through the first 2 innings by the man on the mound, Owen Kelleher. Another word from the MIAA. More than 200,000 students will participate in approximately 100,000 high school sport competitions among the MIAA's 360 member schools this year. The MIAA encourages you to support your local high school athletic programs and the students who participate in them. Kelleher ready to rock and roll. Bottom third of the Hilltoppers order expected here in the third. It's going to be Kevin Mativier leading things off, the right fielder. Kevin had some really fine plays in the outfield on Monday. A lot of fly balls out to right and right center, and really patrolled right field very, very well. Took ball 1 upstairs. That one sliced off the bat, and does it get by? It does not. Did he pull off the bag? No, they call him out. Callahan with the range again. Scooping it and able to throw him out. That was a tough play. It certainly pulled Wilson a little bit, but our umpire right down the line watching the play happen, as was assistant coach Jay Martin. No argument there. Showing bunt, trying to drop one down is Braden Buston, the number 8 batter in the order, fouled back to the screen. I thought for sure that one was really slicing away from Callahan at second, but hit the ground just a little bit too soon. Kind of slowed up enough for him to get there. That one down and away for ball 1. that one away as well. You know, you look back at Monday's playoff win again, that first inning. Braden's play to throw home in the middle of the rundown between first and second, watching the runner at third. He got it home just in time, and they gunned down the runner to end that first inning. And the game could have been very different if that second run crossed and the inning continued for Wellesley. And that was a, not a play that probably many would talk about, but it was a huge play in that game. 2-2 pitch upstairs. Curveball did not break. Stayed up and out. And a full count here to Buston. I believe the first full count of the day for Kelleher. Fouls that one away. Good at bat here for Braden. Braden was, he took Fred TV as a freshman when we had the freshman exploratory, which doesn't happen anymore, at least with Fred TV. And Braden goes down swinging. But I actually got to teach that class. So you could say that Braden was probably one of my first students ever. I'm not a teacher, but I had to fill in. And it's a good experience, I will tell you that, because I never really pictured myself as a teacher. I enjoy this, going out, doing shoots. That's hit to the left side, and Poole plays it. Another 1-2-3 inning, and the Hilltoppers, one time through the order, are set down in order. Almost a carbon copy of Monday's game against Wellesley. Will the fourth inning bring some offensive fireworks? We shall see. Stick around on Fred TV. Top of the fourth here, almost halfway through this one already. It's been a pretty quick game here. Less than an hour real time to go through 3 innings of play. And Curtis Perry back on the hill, starting off like he started every inning so far. Strike one called. Again, though, a couple little miscues between for when the Hilltoppers are out in the field. Check swing is confirmed by our umpire, much to the chagrin of the Durfee fans off to our left. Bunt showing, and it's foul. But yes, a couple miscues, a couple wild pitches, the balk, moving runners around the base paths, getting them into position to score, and then Bombardiers taking advantage of that. And that's what you do in the playoffs. You got to make the other team pay for any little mistake. And right now, from a pitching and fielding standpoint, the Bombardiers have been perfect. That's lofted to right center. Pabon, a long run. Will he get there? Yes, he did. Pabon with a diving catch in center for out number 1. What a play. Boy, he laid out for that one. I mean, he is fast. I honestly did not think he was going to get there. That's a heck of a play from Pabon. Coach Holmschneider came out from the dugout for a moment. Wants to make sure his center fielder is okay, and he is. What a great play for out number 1. That's going to go down as one of the best plays we've seen here all spring. I'll bring up Troy Van Cleet, the catcher. Looks at ball 1. He singled in the second. That's a grounder to short. Down to one knee is Arrieta. Throw on a first, gets him, bang, bang. And 2 down here in the fourth. I'll bring up Nick McMahon. And McMahon with the RBI sac fly in the second. That opened the scoring. That's out to right. Mativier with a very routine fly ball. That's a great 1-2-3 inning, something Durfee needed here after a couple tough innings between the second and the third, Perry made quick work of the middle of the order. That's 2 fly ball outs for McMahon here in the game, center and right field. And we're halfway through it, 2-0 Attleboro on Fred TV. Got some Durfee alumni here as well, some coaches that made their way up from Fall River. As we've seen people filter in here. Really wasn't a bad drive. I mean, it did take pretty much an hour like they said, but you know, I guess it seems so much quicker when you don't have to go through Boston or around Boston. You know, you take 495 and kind of just a couple miles in off the exit here in this old town of Milford. Kelleher warming up. He's going to see the order for the second time. And again, that's when Durfee made some noise against Wellesley, was the second time through on Monday. So can they do it here? I mean, they are putting the ball in play, that's for sure. They've only been struck out twice. Different story on Monday. They were six strikeouts through 3 innings. Today they're putting the ball in play, making Attleboro field the ball. That 4th inning really changed the game on Monday. 6 men to the plate and 2 runs in, and Durfee never looked back. And it started on an error that Pabon reached on. Pabon grounded to second to open the game. And now we'll step in for a second at bat. Corner's playing in, expecting the bunt. He shows bunt, and it's sent down the line, foul to the right. I always feel like it's so much harder to bunt as a righty versus a lefty, because the lefty you almost get a running start as you're dragging it, and if you can get past the first baseman when you're running, there's no chance. There's no chance at all. Pabon down in the count 0-2 after a wild swing and a miss on a curveball. That is well upstairs, above the head. Way upstairs. And Pabon fans here to begin the 4th inning. Third strikeout for Kelleher. And he's now set down the first 10 Hilltoppers. Jose Arrieta will step in now. He popped out to first in the first. He's showing bunt as well, pulls it back, and it's ball 1. That's lofted as well, popped high into the infield, and it is Callahan who comes over to make the play, and 2 down. So 2 pop-ups today for Arrieta. And we'll see Alex Dominguez with 2 down, nobody on. That's sent to left center field, and it's falling fast. It gets by Espinal in center. Dominguez trying to get to second, and he is going to be out. So the Hilltoppers got their first hit, and in the blink of an eye, erased at second is Dominguez. So that's a tough break for Durfee, and that's a big momentum shift right back to Attleboro to get that play. So we stay 2-0 the score here after 4.
Hello, I am Kelly Susie Young, your election commissioner. We mailed out 50,000 census forms this year, and we'd like to hear back from you as soon as possible.
I'd like to fill out a census.
Sure. State and federal programs use census reports as a fair way to distribute funds for health, education, job training, as well as assistance for elders and veterans. Do you need a form? Call 508-324-2630. Your voter status is stated as active or inactive. If no changes are needed, simply sign and mail it back. To save postage and for your convenience, forms may be dropped off at Shaw's, Shav's Market, Seabra Foods, and both Stop and Shop locations. There is also a drop box like this one in the Government Center lobby to put your census in. Thank you, and we would love to hear from you.
Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association is committed to good sportsmanship. That, along with citizenship and responsibility, are the trademarks of high school activities. Support school activities with your own display of good sportsmanship and help encourage America's youth to accept the responsibility which freedom demands. Support your local high school. See the future of America on display and attend high school competitions in your community. A ground ball out by Mason Houle to get things started here in the 5th. And there's one down. Evan Massard with you, coming to you from Pheno Field in Milford for the South D1 semis between Durfee and Attleboro. Real close game right now. Attleboro in the better of the score, 2-0 right now, and the Hilltoppers with their first base runner last inning. The 2-out base hit from Dominguez, but quickly erased, trying to stretch it into a double. That's a bouncer to Buston. Been busy. Nice throw on the run. Solid play. And Sam Larkin is retired, and we'll go back to the top of the order. So Tim Callahan, he reached via walk in the 3rd, the only free pass issued by Perry in the contest, and he came around to score after a balk got him to 2nd. Looks at ball 1. Showing bunt, tries to sweep one, and it goes foul. 1-1. Grounder to Buston, who's going to handle all 3 outs. Well, Perry's doing his job here after a couple dicey, again, the 2nd and 3rd, a little bit dicey, but the 4th and 5th innings here have been very routine. Durfee bats just need to get going here. Three ground ball outs here in the 5th for Curtis Perry. Through 5, we'll give you his line. Through 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. No errors for Durfee. On the other side, Kelleher, perfect through 3 2/3 before allowing that base hit that basically ended the inning, or that did end the inning, in the 4th. So just the 1 hit allowed, the 1 base runner for a split second in the 4th inning. He's got 3 Ks, no walks, no runs. Hilltoppers ready to rock and roll here. It is the heart of the Durfee order. Fonseca, Perry, and Moreno as Again, the one hit allowed so far now by Kelleher, but he's only faced the minimum. 12 up, 12 down. Fonseca struck out in the second. He's 0 for 1. And he'll look at ball 1. I mean, 2-0 right now, the way that Kelleher is pitching. 2-0 feels like 6-0. Need some base runners and get them working from the stretch. I truly believe that's kind of what helped Durfee is, Driver was literally in the driver's seat on Monday against Wellesley, or for Wellesley, and the minute he got to the stretch, the wheels fell off. I mean, they really did. I'd like to see Kelleher work from the stretch here for a little while and try to replicate. Fonsa gives it a ride to right center, shallow right center. Larkin rather, underneath it for the out, and Brett's 0 for 2. Curtis Perry, the pitcher today, stepping in. 0 for 1 with a ground out. Looks it. Oh, a strike down. Wow. I thought that was going to be ball 1. Nonetheless, a very low first strike called. Strike 2 on breaking ball number 2. And Perry down in the count. Left upstairs. In the first 4, Kelleher has had 1 strikeout in 3 of the first 4 innings. The first inning being the only one that he didn't strike anybody out. Again, 3 in all. 1-2 pitch. That is spoiled and sent foul out of play. One-two pitch again. Popped up in the infield. Callahan underneath it for out number 2. And it'll bring up Moreno, who grounded out in his first AB. That one bounces in for ball 1. Climbed the ladder on him, he swung through it, went with the heat, and that's strike 1, so 1-1 the count. Looked too good for Moreno, couldn't lay off. Wow, really pulled the swing on him that time. Pulled the string on him, I should say. He swung over the curve, well ahead of it, and now Kelleher in control here. 1-2 pitch. Grounded to short. Scooped by McMahon. Fires to first for the out. Another 1-2-3 inning for Kelleher, and his Blue Bombardiers continue to lead the number 2 seed Durfee Hilltoppers 2-0. Curtis Perry ready to deal here in the 6th. He's set down 7 in a row, going back to the end of the 3rd. And unfortunately, still finds himself and his team trailing by a pair in the late stages of the ball game here. Just 2 innings left to play in this 7-inning playoff game. And it's Alvaro Espinal, the center fielder, who's 0 for 2. The number 2 batter in the lineup, leading off here in the 6th, and he looks at ball 2. It's 2-1. Evan Massoud with you on Fred TV for the Division I South Semis. Durfee and Attleboro have not faced each other this year. They did not play each other in the regular season. In past years, there have been past years that we did, but this year, no. That has popped a mile up Coming in is Pabon. And it drops. Bussin does not make the play. Pabon was there to cover him and back him up. But it's going to go as a two-base E4. Tough play there for Bussin, who handled all 3 outs last inning. So standing at second to lead off the inning is Espinal. Cam Fitzgerald will step in. One of 2 players with an RBI today. His was an RBI double back in the 3rd that scored Callahan. That one gets away. A wild pitch, the 3rd of the game for Perry. And Espinal stands at 3rd with nobody out. And the way this one's going, he's a huge insurance run, let me tell you. That's a big run standing out there at 3rd base for Attleboro. Oh, 1 pitch to Fitzgerald. Sent to right field. Mativier there for the catch, the throw home. It is a good throw, but it's not going to be in time. And Espinal scores. Fitzgerald with his 2nd. Oh, they appealed at 3rd, and he left early. So no run.
Touch the back, baby! You missed! Oh, you're fast.
Coach Dunley going to come out and argue. And that's why you appeal. The Hilltoppers in the 3rd base dugout. Boy, that's a huge call right there. I was about to say that the Bombardiers were going to get a run without the benefit of a hit, but the run negated on the appeal at 3rd. That is an out. And that's a run off the board. So essentially a double play. The fly ball to right, and then the appeal 1-5. Lorenzo Wilson steps in with nobody on and 2 down. Boy, that really changed the complexion of this one. Don't get me wrong, Durfee's still going to get the offense going here, but man, that's a huge call. And a huge mistake. Deep short for Arrieta. Plants, fires across the diamond. Does he get there? No. Wilson beats it out on the infield hit. So Ryan Morey will get a chance. He's flied out to center twice, 0 for 2. For Wilson, it's his 2nd hit. He gets on via the infield single, so 2 for 3. Nice day for him in the cleanup spot. Also scored a run. Calling the pickoff. Or are they calling it a balk? As the throw was there, and it looks like they're going to call a balk. He's out! Perry with the pickoff, and Wilson gets the bad news. And he can't believe it, but he's going to get the bad news from the umps. They get the call. So 2 huge play. I'll tell you, some weird stuff. Weird stuff in the top of the 6th inning, but Durfee escapes unscathed, and believe it or not, Perry faces basically the minimum here, just the 3 batters, 3 outs. So Kelleher gonna go to the mound. 1 hit, 1 error. No one left on. No runs, despite what we really thought was gonna be a run. What a crazy top of the 6th. Baseball's a weird game. You just never know what's going to happen. People think I'm crazy when I tell them I'll sit through a Red Sox game before I sit through a Celtics game, or even sometimes a full hockey game just during the regular season. But something about baseball, man. It is a lot of fun. Warm-up pitch is done, and the bottom third again of the Durfee Hilltoppers order. I almost said Red Sox. I was at the game last night, so I must have that on my mind. Of course, Durfee playing a better game than the Sox did against the Rangers last night, so power to Durfee for that. Oh, goodness. Our world champs are not playing like world champs, that's for sure, here in 2019. Mativier will start it off. He grounded his second in his first at-bat. That's a base hit down the line. Charging it is Fitzgerald, and wisely, he holds up at first. Mativier with the single. You need base runners. Good job to hold up, though, and not chance getting thrown out at second. Second hit of the day for Durfee, a leadoff hit for Mativier. And McMahon went down there. Coach Dunley going to come out and take a look at him. So coach out there with the Attleboro athletic trainer. Of course, our athletic trainer, Kelly Mahoney, here for Durfee in the dugout. Made the trip up here. So Braden Buston will come to bat 0 for 1. He struck out in the third. Mativier at first to lead off the inning. Buston with a big swing on strike one. He fouls it back.
We need your hit. We need your hit. Come on, Brandon, let's go.
Poole playing in at third. Maybe thinking about a sacrifice. That one fouled back and going to the parking lot.
Follow the ball, follow.
And it's quickly 0-2 on Buston. All three strikeouts for Kelleher so far have been swinging. Perry's 2 Ks have been looking. That one downstairs. Good eye from Buston to lay off of that one. That was a good pitch. It's 1-2. That one misses upstairs, and Buston lays off. He evens the count at 2-2, working back from an 0-2 hole. I expect Kelleher to come right back with a breaking ball. And first to check on the runner at first. Kelleher has done a real nice job at mixing his pitches, so once you see a couple you see a fastball, curveball, kind of really almost alternating. I'm wondering if we might see a breaking ball here with 2-2. No, fastball, hard stuff, and Buston just got a piece of that. That one fouled back as well, hanging tough. That one fouled back, man. A great at bat put on here from Buston.
Don't give up, bud. Keep battling. Hey, 11. Get more than 2. Get more.
Kelleher deals the 2-2 again. Buston fouls it. Wow, that was awfully close. I didn't even hear the bat touch that one. So staying alive here. A 2-2 once again. That is sent to short. McMahon bobbles it. Throw on to first is not in time. They do get the force. So Mativier erased on the fielder's choice. And Buston on. That was a great at-bat, though, from Braden. Really fought hard in that at-bat. Saw at least a half dozen pitches. Chris Kadima, the left fielder, will step in. He grounded out to third in his first at-bat. A man at first now, one down. And that's upstairs. Kelleher's done a nice job in the stretch. I said I wanted to see how he would be with, having to work with a man on and a base runner and not that windup where he's been so comfortable. It's been routine. Every out's been so easy for him. He's done a good job from the stretch. Kadima represents the tying run here at the plate, looks at a strike, and it's 1-1. Again, just a 2-0 ball game here, but the great pitching from Kelleher has really stymied this Hilltopper offense. Another check on Buston at first. So Kadima's got to wait for another pitch here. That's a good lead for Buston. Woo! Man, where did that miss? That looked like a real good pitch. I mean, we're a little off angle here, but you get to feel where the umpires are at and how the pitches come into the plate, no matter where you are. That looked like a good pitch. Nonetheless, 2-1 the count now. Make it 2-2. Kelleher steps off, and he and Van Fleet will cycle through the signs again. A 2-2 pitch coming to Kadima. It's popped up. Under it is Wilson, tracking and making the catch for out number 2. That's the third time he's handled a pop-up. Jose Baban will step in 0 for 2. He struck out in his last at-bat and made that fantastic diving play in right center. He'll step in now with Buston at first and 2 down. That's flared out to right, shallow right. Tracking is Callahan, and he ends up making the catch. And they strand Buston at first base. And the Hilltoppers remain off the scoreboard after 6 innings. Final inning of play coming up next on Fred TV.
We want you to hear it first.
A street sweeper is coming to your neighborhood. The Department of Community Maintenance, in cooperation with the Mayor's Office, as well as the Committee on Public Works, are collaborating to improve the cleanliness and overall appearance of our city streets. This restructured program runs through the summer. No parking times involve only a few hours and are similar to a parking ban during a snowstorm. This will enable the sweeper to reach both sides of the curb. Residents will have 1 day's notice to prepare, so be on the lookout for temporary signage. For more information, call John Perry at the Department of Community Maintenance at 508-324-2760 or contact Laura Ferreira at the Traffic Department at 508-324-2577. To see a list of the scheduled streets, visit the city's website at www.fallriverma.org.
You've heard it.
Now please help us keep our city clean.
Thank you.
Perry wraps up the warm-up tosses here as we begin the 7th frame. And it'll be Ryan Morey, the DH, the number 5 hitter for Attleboro, leading things off. Morey 0 for 2. 2 flyouts to center field for Morey, who was left at the plate on the pickoff that ended last inning. That caught Wilson leading off the bag. So Morey had seen a few pitches. And now we'll finally get to bat an inning later. Durfee made Kelleher work from the stretch for the first time in 5+ innings. But they could not push the runner past second. I should say past first. One fielder's choice, he raced a man at second, and Buston was left at first by the final 2 batters in the inning. And the Hilltoppers in danger of seeing their season, which was really a fantastic regular season. You know, little things that the team deals with during the year, and obviously here in Massachusetts, same climate, almost all the teams had to, but Durfee, extremely difficult conditions to deal with, between all the rain in April, all the rescheduled games, and the fact that they didn't get to play 1 game on their home field all year long because of the rain and having to travel and go to some teams' homes twice and be the home team there, which is just so odd. But sometimes it's going to happen. I mean, this team dealt with a lot of adversity. And to end 15-5 regular season, Big 3 champs, I mean, it's been a tremendous season for these boys. That is headed towards Buston at second. A great play. Again, he's been solid. Aside from that miscue on the pop-up, that does go as the only error for Durfee in the game last inning. Buston's been great on the ground. But this team, a lot of experience with this team. Not normally the case where you can say the 20-man roster here. At least that's what Coach Olmschneider has put forth on his lineup card. 11 on the bench. Yes, 11 on the bench and 9 in the lineup. 20-man roster. Not normal. You can say that 14 players on this varsity team are seniors. This team's going to look very, very different in 2020. 0-2 pitch. It's taken down low by Van Fleet. Time granted very late by our home plate umpire. Perry was halfway into his windup. As a pitcher, that is just not something you like. That is sent foul on a line, almost took out the top row of the Attleboro bleachers. Spoiled another grounded foul. Here's the 1-2 from Perry once again, and it is fouled and out of play. There have been a lot of foul balls to the parking lot. We haven't heard a bang yet, so luckily, don't think anyone's car's been hit, but there's been a number of balls that have been hit out that way. Timeout again for Van Fleet. Perry will deal the 1-2 once again. That is down and away. Well, regardless of if this is our last game of the spring of the school year or not, some good news is that that's grounded off of Moreno, redirected to Arrieta, and he will just hold it. Hot shot off the glove of Moreno. So reaching is Van Fleet. And I'll bring up Nick McMahon. As I was about to say, is that some good news for this summer is that Fall River has a Legion team, a senior Legion team this year, which we didn't have last year. And that's a good thing. So Post 464 will be back in action, is back in action at Chew Park, down on the south side. We have a pinch runner, it's Robbie Furtado. Coming in a run for Van Fleet. And with that said, we'll have some Legion coverage, and we will have some Fribble coverage this summer as the Fred TV Sports Report returns. I'll have some weekly reports with some baseball highlights from the city, as well as some sports stories, is what's going on around here in Fall River. And that'll be back in its usual time slot, as we've had the last 3 or 4 seasons, 3 or 4 summers, 7:30 on Friday evening, right here on Fred TV. Looking forward to that. Always enjoy the city baseball at Chew. Proud to say that since I came on in 2012, we've been the exclusive coverage for Fribble baseball. Force play at second, just in time. Arrieta with a real nice play there as he had to range to his right to get the fielder's choice.
Yeah.
But yep, for 3+ years, 4 summers, I should say 4 seasons, 12, 13, 14, and 15. 4 summer seasons on FRG TV, our sister station, and then the last 3 summers on Fred TV. Fribble has been brought to you exclusively by us here in the city. A pinch hitter for I'm sorry, that was Nick McMahon who just hit. It's Mason Hool, who's being pinch hit for by Troy Gamache, number 15. McMahon at first with 2 down. And Gamache getting to hit for the first time. Heading the count 2-0. Mason Hool had been 0 for 2 before being relieved. A strikeout victim in the 2nd and a ground ball out in the 5th. That one drops in there for a strike. Sam Larkin with a bat in his hands on deck, should we go that far. So we'd say he's expected to hit. 2-2 the count. The scoreboard had it wrong. 2-2 the count here to Gamache with 2 down here in the 7th. That one downstairs, and it'll run the count full, and McMahon will be off with the pitch. Payoff pitch from Perry. It's grounded played by Moreno. And the side is retired. Amazingly, McMahon did not take off with the full count and 2 down. That's very odd. 5-3 put out. Moreno to Dominguez. And the Hilltoppers, last chance for romance here for Durfee. Attleboro just 3 outs away from eliminating the Hilltoppers and moving on into the South D1 Finals. Unless the Hilltoppers can scrape up a couple runs here in the final frame. Kelleher has been outstanding on the mound for Attleboro. And again, the winner here, if it is Attleboro, if Attleboro holds on, they'll face off either against Taunton, the number 4 seed, or Zavarian, the number 9 seed. Durfee will have 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Arrieta, Dominguez, and Fonseca expected to bat. Between the 3 of them, 1 for 6 on the day. That one being Dominguez's base hit, which was the first hit of the day for Durfee back in the 4th.
Hey, Jose, let's go. Let's go, Durfee.
So here we go, bottom of the 7th. Durfee down by 2 and desperately needing some base runners. Only 3 guys have reached base for Durfee in this contest. 2 via hit and 1 via a fielder's choice. And 2 of those came just last inning. And it's ball 1 to Arrieta. Durfee dugout trying to spark the hitters. Swung on and popped up. Wilson ranging over. It's going to go into the seats. And all that turns into is an easy strike 1. No out. With the foul ball, the count evens up at 1-1. Arrieta with a pop-up in the 1st and in the 4th. 1 to 3rd and 1 to 2nd. That's a rope to center, but right at Espinal for out number 1. He really got the head of the bat out on that one, but it's just a long fly ball out. Some of the best contact of the day for Durfee right there. But it was right at the center fielder, Espinal. Alex Dominguez will step in now. He did get that first hit again back in the 4th, so 1 for 2, but he was erased trying to stretch it into a double after it initially got by Espinal, but obviously not very far because the ball came back in very quickly. That one up and away and missing for Kelleher. That one will drop in for a strike, 1-1. Down and in for strike 2. The 1-2 pitch from Kelleher to Dominguez. And he strikes out. Have to throw to first for the out, and they do. That was the 4th strikeout for Kelleher. And Durfee's down to their final out. It'll be Brett Fonseca. Struck out in the second, flew out in the fifth. He's the last man standing. Good rip on strike one. Curtis Perry on deck. He would love a chance here. Really did pitch a fine ball game. That one does not drop in. It's a little high. Yeah, Perry 4 hits, just the 2 runs, 1 walk and 2 Ks. Not a bad day at the office, and usually a line like that in high school sports is good enough for a win. That's a rope up the middle, and the Hilltoppers cling to life. 2-out base runner. Perry does get a chance after Fonseca picks up his first hit of the day. Unfortunately, at this point in the ballgame, when you say that you have life, it's kind of like saying you're the healthiest person in intensive care. Still a real tight spot. Perry takes strike 1. Pitcher versus pitcher here with 2 down. Perry again represents that tying run. That's up and in. The 1-1 popped up. Does Wilson have room? Coming to the dugout, he does not. Lands on the bleachers. And Durfee's down to their final strike. One-two pitch from Kelleher. Fouled and spoiled. It goes out of play. Perry staying alive with the foul ball. We'll do the 1-2 again. Here it is. That one sent to the right side. Knocked down and grabbed by Callahan, and the game is over. The Attleboro Blue Bombardiers are moving on to the South Finals. And the Hilltopper season comes to a close here at Fino Field in Milford. That's Kelleher. Owen Kelleher for Attleboro tosses a 3-hit shutout against Durfee, the number 2 seed. So both the 1 and the 2 seed are gone from this bracket. And the Hilltoppers leave with much disappointment after a fantastic 20-game regular season. This is a pitcher's duel. This was a great game. This is exactly what you want. A very clean game. Couple little miscues that gave Attleboro an edge early in the game, and Kelleher locked it down once he got those 2 runs. But this really was overall a very well-played game by 2 good teams. And unfortunately for the 14 seniors on Durfee's team, that's it. Durfee baseball going to look very different in 2020, but we will look forward to that team next spring. Well, that's going to wrap up our coverage here on Fred TV of high school sports for school year 2018-2019. We saw a lot of great sports this year, and we look forward to it next year, of course. And we thank you, as always, for being faithful viewers. Be sure to keep an eye out, again, for the Fred TV Sports Report, which I'll be reporting and bringing to you throughout the summer. And you'll see, I'm sure, a bunch of these guys back on your TV set or on the web before you know it, because many of these Durfee players are on Post 464's Legion teams. So you'll see a lot of familiar faces. This isn't the last we've seen of them. Unfortunately, it's their last Durfee game, but we'll be seeing them soon. And like to see what Legion can get done this year, because again, it's a lot of the same guys, and they had a great year here playing high school baseball. So for now, that's going to wrap it up. For Jake Fitzgerald running camera, I'm Evan Massoud. Thank you for tuning in to Fred TV's high school sports coverage here throughout the school year. Catch you in the summer. Have a great 4th.